Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. I know I'm a few months late on this announcement, but I really wanted to talk about Terminator Dark Fate Defiance, which is a mouthful of a title by the way. I watched Slytherin's entire Winter Showcase event late last year to see gameplay of their upcoming Broken Arrow RTS. By the way, I made some videos on that, link in the description, but I was very pleasantly surprised by some of the other games they teased and showed off. One of those is this Terminator universe inspired RTS game. You might be asking why I am only now making a video 3 months after the announcement, and it's because a commenter on one of my videos recently pointed out to me that allegedly no other studio than Cats Who Play is working on this game. Now surprisingly, the store page for the game does not mention that, but they did post about this themselves on their Twitter and Facebook pages. Now, if you aren't familiar with Cats Who Play yet, they actually made the brutally realistic Syrian Warfare RTS back in 2017. This actually sits at an 86% positive rating after over 3,500 reviews, which makes me very hopeful for their upcoming Terminator game. I'll let you watch the official gameplay trailer first, and then we'll talk about some of the game's details after. The game is set in the Terminator Dark Fate universe, which is a sequel to Terminator 2, but ignores what happened in Terminator 3, Salvation, and Genesis. In Terminator Dark Fate, Skynet, the self-aware and rogue AI, was wiped out, but a different AI took its place called Legion. In the single-player campaign of Defiance, you will play as the commander of the Founders, a collection of ex-US military members fighting not just the Legion AI, but also other factions such as the Resistance. Now, Defiance's campaign will have players make choices about who they ally with and how they move through maps to complete objectives. Though the campaign will be mostly linear, there are going to be variations depending on which factions they side with. Think of slightly different units and weapons, as well as a slightly different story. Much like Syrian Warfare, Defiance will not be a base building RTS. You actually will have to complete objectives with a limited set of units. Now, according to the store page, you can, quote, take control of an army carried over from mission to mission on a series of large strategic maps, end quote. This means that keeping units alive will reward you in the long run, seeing as they will most likely gain veterancy and experience that will make them more powerful in future battles and engagements. What was visible in the gameplay footage they released was some of the component damage, again similar to Syrian Warfare. This means that much like, for example, Gates of Hell or Men of War, a vehicle will have many different components that can be damaged or completely destroyed. Think of a vehicle losing a track or not having the ability to rotate its turret anymore. Being damaged in that way may not mean a tank or vehicle is a total write-off, but will require either on or off map repairs, rendering it less effective for a while. Both the video and the store page confirm not only ground units but also drones and other flying units will make it to the game. Now it is possible that fixed-wing aircraft like the A-10 seen in the teaser trailer are off-map call-ins like they are in Syrian Warfare. Now one thing Syrian Warfare did exceptionally well in my opinion was the interaction of units with structures. Not only can you occupy a building and access every window, doorway, and floor, every building can be partially or wholly destroyed. It appears that Defiance will include the system with the store page mentioning physics-based building demolition. Defiance will not only come with a single-player campaign, but also with multiplayer modes going from 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 1 to 2 versus 2. 3 different factions will be playable: the Resistance, the Founders, and the Legion AI. Now the 1v1 and 2v2 game modes are going to be interesting as we haven't actually seen a multiplayer game mode in Syrian Warfare, so I'm wondering how it will work. Most likely there will be some sort of point system, think like Total War multiplayer battles. You pick units until you reach your point limit without the ability to produce more units like you see in games such as Command & Conquer. It's also possible they are going for a more Men of War style approach where you will call in units during the match, with obviously better units being more expensive. Now we can assume that the basic domination game mode where both teams have to capture flags for points will make an appearance, though I'm hoping we get to see some more interesting and unique game modes for the 1v1 and 2v2s. They do specifically mention this 2v1 game mode. Perhaps we will see some sort of built-in siege or defense game mode where one player has pre-set up defenses and has to defend an objective on one side of the map, with the 2-player team having to go through these multiple lines of defenses to get there. Think of the frontline game mode in Men of War. Looking at the reveal trailer, quite a few gameplay elements from Syrian Warfare seem to have made their way into Defiance. I already mentioned the ability to damage different components on vehicles, but also having limited ammo for infantry teams and vehicles, as well as what appears to be fuel and some sort of self-repair ability on vehicles can be seen. In Syrian Warfare, vehicles can do some self-repairs. After a while, those supplies run out and they need a dedicated repair vehicle. It appears that one of the infantry squads has at least 2 different types of rocket-propelled grenades, and it's likely that some sort of looting or capture system from Syrian Warfare will make its way into Defiance. Say your infantry just used up all of their RPGs, but you just knocked out an enemy unit armed with similar weapons, you will most likely be able to resupply off their bodies or straight up loot their weapons. This is purely an assumption, but one I dare to make, seeing as how similar Syrian Warfare and Defiance's gameplay seem to be, judging from this trailer. 2022 already looked like it was going to be a great year for RTS games, but the addition of Defiance in the long list of new RTS games certainly is one I am very excited to see. What do you think of Defiance so far? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.